Hey, what's up? It's Kit. Time for another video. Today, we're going to talk about a reel that you might already have that, unbeknownst to a lot of people, is an awesome, awesome, awesome slow jigging reel. In fact, I would say that it's probably a better slow jigging reel than the Oshia Jigger 2000. And we're talking about the Trinidad 16A. There we go. Okay. So if you're new to this channel talks about the hows and whys of fishing. We cover everything from big game, ultralight, everything in the middle, including fly fishing. And today we're going to talk about the Trinidad 16 and how it is far more superior than the Oshia Jigger 2000 when it comes to slow jigging. Now, before I started using other brands like Studio Ocean Mark, this was my slow jigging reel for deeper drops. Okay, so anywhere where I was supposed to be using a 2000 sized Oshia Jigger, I was using this. Okay, now the biggest reason is because of the wider spool. Okay, now let's talk about that because that's the biggest thing here. Now, when you are jigging or when you're dropping your lure or your bait down deep, on a narrow reel, okay, the line doesn't have anywhere to go but just that narrow space, which means that your line stack gets slower and smaller and lower really fast. Okay, and that could be a problem when you're slow jigging, especially with lighter line, because what happens to the reel, or what it does, is that it tightens or increases the drag as it goes down. So the smaller, I keep on repeating this, I know, the smaller the stack of line becomes, the higher the drag pressure the reel exerts. Okay, that's A. B, it also retrieves the line slower because the circle of line or the stack of line that you have here, okay, is actually smaller. So a smaller circle, smaller loop of line, slower retrieve. And at the same time, while it's slow, the drag is up. Okay, it increases. So the problem there is the power you have to pull the fish off of a structure, or when you want to retrieve the line faster, you're gonna be in trouble. You're gonna be in trouble. That's what a lot of people don't understand. And it has nothing to do with the reel. The reel is excellent. Okay, it's just physics. Okay, now there are subtle differences. Like, take for example the float cap right here. It's bigger in the Oshia Jigger. Okay, as you can see here, in the Trinidad it's smaller. Okay, you have a spool lock. Okay, and that locks the spool right there. So when you're snagged, you know, lock it, reel, pull, either the hooks stretch out, it breaks. The leader, it could be your knot that would part, or it could be your line. Either way, you get things back. You don't have that with the Trinidad. What you have is a clicker. Okay, another thing is you don't have the auto engage. See, so that's it. It's on free spool. When you put it on free spool, and if you want to reel, you have to engage that lever. Whereas with this one, okay, when you want to reel, as soon as it drops, you crank, it goes into gear, and you're jigging. So kind of an advantage there. However, okay, you know, as soon as it drops, your thumb's already there, right? As soon as it drops, you actually just press that and then flick that, and guess what? You're back to jigging. Or, you know, like when I do, okay, let me show you. Okay, what I do is just go like that on my first crank, and then boom, it's done. So see, it's easy, man. See, like that. Okay, you can do it with your thumb as well. It is not difficult, and once you're used to it, guess what? It just happens automatically. You know, you don't even look. It's just like that. So as far as the engaging is concerned, because a lot of people are actually saying like, oh, the auto engage, easy. Okay, now obviously that is something that you have to address. I usually carry around a hardwood dowel. Okay, so when I get snagged, I just wrap it there and then pull. I actually made a video how I made mine. You know, I think they were lightweight versions, but you can easily lathe out a piece of wood, or you can buy commercial ones, and then problem solved. I mean, that's how we used to do it before anyway, right? So the biggest advantage, of course, is the wide spool, and this is exactly why you buy it. Okay, now let's get into the specs so that we can do a side by side. Okay, so that you would understand exactly what I'm saying here, because a lot of people might think that, oh, maybe, you know, the speed and all this. What about the drag? Okay, so let's talk about that. So firstly, let's talk about the Trinidad. Okay, and this is the 16A. Gear ratio 6.2 to 1. Or sorry, 6.2 to 1. Guess what? 6.2 to 1. They have the exact gear ratio. Okay, now what is the retrieve on this? Okay, that is 46 inches per crank of freedom units right there. So that is 46 inches per crank. Now let's look at the Ocea Jigger just to see. Oshia Jigger 2000 HG, 46 inches per crank. Look at that. Okay. Gear ratio 6.2 to 1. Wow. What about ball bearings? Because guess what? This is an American version, a Western version, and it might have less bearings because the JDMs have 8 bearings and 1 anti-reverse bearings. Nope, it has 8. Oshia Jigger. Boom, the same thing. 8 and 1. Okay? Now, what about the drag, the max drag? Ocea Jigger 2000 has a whopping 22 pounds of stopping power. How in the world are we gonna beat that with the Trinidad? Well, 3 pounds better. This is actually a reel that has 25 pounds max drag. So it has more line and it has more drag. Same gear ratio. Wow, okay. What about the weight? Oh my God, what about the weight? Ocea Jigger is 21 ounces. Okay, 21 ounces. 16A Trinidad 19.4. Okay, so that is for the Ocea Jigger. 21 ounces is 595.34. Okay, that is 595.34 grams. Okay, now you have 19.4 ounces, which is 550 grams. 550 grams. Okay, now that is a difference of about 45 grams. That is a small jig. Okay, when you're holding this, okay, compared to this. And remember, the line itself also has a little bit of weight. So you have more line capacity on this. It's lighter and it's stronger. It has the same gears. What? How could that be? Right? The only thing, oh, by the way, you don't have that, okay? You don't have the spool lock. Wow. I mean, really? I'm not gonna cry about that, you know? I'd rather have a lighter reel, more capacity, and more drag. I'll take this any day, really. Because see, the thing is, when I made a comparison before, when I saw that, I was like, holy crap, this is a better reel, you know, just because of the physics of this. So the line stack of this, because it's wide and it has somewhere to go side to side, more than just up and down, okay? This is far more superior for slow jigging, I'd have to say, than this one, okay? Now, as far as the shape of the star drag is concerned, you'll have the same, you know, only a different color, okay? Biggest difference, of course, for this one is that it had a shorter handle with that knob, with the white knob. And all I did was to swap it out with a aftermarket handle. This one's from Studio Ocean Mark. It does contribute to a lower weight because of the lighter air egg. Okay. However, I have to say that if you look around eBay or even Amazon, there's a lot of options you can use to do the same thing here. Okay. So I think on eBay you'll find a lot of handles from Asia. Those are good enough, man. You know. So here's a very good example of the handle that I'm talking about. Okay. So this one is a longer handle, and the knob is actually made out of aluminum, and it's also lighter. Okay, so you have a longer arm, so it's a longer throw. Okay, so each turn gives you a lot more control. I chose a Studio Ocean Mark handle for this one. This is what I had available here at the shop. When I went, I just saw it and I was like, okay, Shimano fit, bang, there we go, done deal. Okay, so again, there are a lot of options as far as handles are concerned. There's stuff from Gomexus and obviously Studio Ocean Mark. There are other brands, but if you already have this reel, it means that you just have to buy the handle, a longer handle, and then that is it. Can you slow jig with a shorter handle? You can, but it's not gonna be comfortable. It's very unwieldy because a longer handle makes it softer to reel. Okay, it's a longer lever for your hands and arms to work, and it makes it easier. So the longer the handle, the easier the reel is to crank. Okay, so for this particular one, this is literally the biggest change I have made. The only change I've made for this particular reel. Granted that this is a very expensive handle and a lot of people would probably shy away from this, but hey, you know what? There are, like I said, there are other options. Okay, so there's very little else to say except that if you have this reel and you want to go into slow jigging, guys, go ahead and do it with this reel. Okay, you don't have to spend. It's an excellent reel. Would I recommend it? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying now. Now, who's it for? For everyone, especially if you're about to start get into slow jigging. Okay, the biggest difference is that this, even if you buy it brand new, is about $100 cheaper. Okay, so it retails for $565 in the Shimano website. I'm pretty sure you can get a better deal if you get it secondhand. Okay, Ocea Jiggers, $620. Okay, so the difference could be the purchase of the handle, and that is it. That is it. Okay, spool this up with PE3 and you get a lot of line. Okay, now the Power Pro capacity of the Ocea Jigger, 400 yards for 40, 340 for 50-pound Power Pro, and 65-pound Power Pro gives you 250 yards on the spool for the Ocea Jigger. Now for the Trinidad, kind of crazy. 50-pound test, 530 yards. For 65, you have 330. You could put 250 yards of 80-pound test Power Pro on this. Okay? So it holds a crap load of line. Okay? And it doesn't shrink as fast when you are slow jigging. So like take for example, for me, this is PE3 because I use this for like deeper water with bigger jigs and on a heavier rod. Okay? And guess what? It works extremely well because as far as the gearing is concerned, it's an Ocea Jigger. Okay? It's a lighter, stronger Ocea Jigger, you know? So it's a Spanish speaking Ocea Jigger. That's it. So this is one of those rare instances where you know, the ones that's made for the Western market are actually better, I would say. Okay, so if you already have this reel, or if you're getting into slow jigging and you're thinking about buying a reel, definitely make this as an option, guys. I put my name behind this. I honestly, because guess what? It's what I used. Alrighty. So for you guys that are in the market for a reel and you're thinking that the Ocea Jigger is it, guess what? Here's an entrant that would blow it out of the water, right? Lighter, stronger, more capacity, and all you have to do is just change the handle. That's it. It might not have a bigger float cap here. It might not have the, what do you call this? The auto engage clutch. It might not have the clicker, but guess what? I can use this for casting. Okay. And all the rest, I can actually work normally, because guess what? As someone who's been using Western tools, Western reels for a really long time, it's already a habit of mine to do all that, you know? And if I already had this reel, which I had, by the way, in the past, I didn't have to spend for anything. It's just, I spent for the handle to just make it better. That is it. Alrighty, that's it for this video. I really hope that this helps someone out there. Okay, especially when you have this reel and you're thinking about getting what do you call this, a slow jigging combo, a dedicated slow jigging combo. Just buy a handle for this reel and off you go, man. You know, spool it with Japanese line. Okay, PE3 2.5, Bob's your uncle. You don't have to spool a crap load of line on this. You could use backing. Okay, you could use some sort of backing, use braid instead of mono. So use braid backing, connect it with a really good strong knot, and you have a very, very good reel for slow jigging. That's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Again, I'd like to thank the members, subscribers, memberships, of course, help this channel move forward. As with the subscriptions, and it's very important for you guys to share the video so that this reaches a lot of people that it would be able to help. Okay, I guess for this video what I need to do is I will put possible handles that you could use. I'm gonna link it using Amazon, okay, because that's easy for you guys to find. A little bit of help when it comes to that. Alrighty, that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Class dismissed!